Tonight we're tackling 3 ads because they all deal with one thing: Claire McCaskill's record on immigration. Air Force One is expected to arrive in a little more than an hour, but all afternoon hundreds of people have been flooding into this hangar. Many people come and see the lights every year, and they say the display is a gift to the community. Jim and Emily, police have been on the scene here for about an hour. They say one woman was shot in the arm. She was transported to the hospital. She takes 6 every day. That's 42 a week. 168 a month. That's more than 2,000 pills a year. People have been asking me why an Amber Alert hasn't been issued in this case. I asked police and they told me a certain number of criteria have to be met, and they don't have any reason to believe that Gray was abducted. Air Force One just took off to head back to Washington, D.C., but President Trump came to Missouri to campaign for Josh Hawley, and one of the main talking points of the night was Claire McCaskill. North Callaway R1 School District covers 320 square miles. As you can see on this map, it stretches from Hatton all the way down to Williamsburg. The parents don't even know why their toddler died, but sometimes something unexpected happens.
If he was still here, he would change the world.
When Riker Bound died unexpectedly in August, the family didn't know how to cope.
The grief is very real. You never know how you're going to react. You know, you hear it said, and I've said it 1,000 times, I don't know what I would ever do. And you don't know what you would do.
The death came as Riker's parents, Tara and Ryan, were planning to go on a cruise to celebrate their anniversary. After the tragedy, the couple decided to sell their cruise package to use the money for other expenses. That's when the Bounds had their first stroke of luck, in the form of Rachel Newham. Newham lives in Arizona and doesn't know the family personally. She started a GoFundMe campaign to raise money so the Bounds can afford the vacation they had planned.
But it means a lot to us that someone, you know, that's what we hope, is that Riker will touch someone's life.
Riker's big brother Parker has taken his death the hardest.
After losing Riker, it was, it's like we had to kind of mourn for the loss of both of our children in a way.
But here's the second stroke of luck. Tara just found out she is pregnant.
Baby. Do you know who's having a baby?
Me.
Mom.
You are? You're pregnant?
He burst into tears.
Buddy, it's okay.
I'm gonna have a new playmate.
You are.
I'm gonna be so happy.
What?
I'm gonna be happier again.
Oh. Like, it's a totally different thing when somebody tells you, hey, I'm expecting, than when you say, you know, we've lost our child, and now we're going to have a new one.
The new Bound baby is due in the spring, and Tara says she and her family can now feel a little hope during such a dark time. Around graduation season, you can usually find hundreds of students taking pictures on MU's famous quad, but one graduate brought a special guest to crash his photo shoot.
These guys are sort of spoiled. They get to lay around all day.
But not on Thursday. Amelia the dairy cow was spotted on MU's campus for a graduation photo shoot.
There were a lot of cell phones out. It was kind of fun. I kind of figured people would stare because not many people see cows every day.
Massimo Montalbano always had the idea in the back of his mind to bring a cow along, but heard a student last spring took photos with her horse.
I figured I'd one-up her and bring a cow instead of a horse.
Amelia lives at Foremost Dairy Research Center and has quite the resume. In addition to providing gallons and gallons of milk every day, she is also a prize-winning show cow.
Well, she didn't want to go originally, but I convinced her. There we go, yeah.
Montalbano originally came to MU for the vet program, but quickly fell in love with dairy farming.
Every day is different. You know, one day you're feeding, one day you're milking. There's something new, you know, it's just a challenge.
The pair drew quite a crowd while his girlfriend took the photos.
I didn't want to, but I agreed to it for her, and I decided that, you know, if we're going to do this, we're going to bring cows on campus.
A moving end to a college career.
She's just a good-looking cow. I'm just my little buddy, I guess.
Montalbano graduates Saturday with a degree in animal science and already has a job lined up at a dairy farm in Monette, Missouri. Sadly, he won't be bringing Amelia with him. It's a slow process, Jim, but finally one school in all of Boone, Cole, and Callaway counties has a tornado shelter, and it comes down to money. FEMA grants are hard to get, and safe rooms cost thousands of dollars to build. In Joplin, all of the safe rooms got FEMA funding, but that's not the case in this story.
And in this case, you're more qualified to tell this story than I am. Traditionally, we've always sheltered our kids in hallways, and that's what we did in Joplin prior to the May 22nd tornado.
This is what the inside of a school can look like during an EF5 tornado. Windows busting, tables flying, debris strewn everywhere, leaving those like high school principal Carrie Saketa stunned.
What we found out in the Joplin tornado was especially that the high school was kind of the epicenter of the middle of the 7-mile stretch, that hallways would not have worked well in that situation.
The Joplin tornado tore through the town, leaving a 7-mile path of destruction. C.J. Huff knows. He was the Joplin School's superintendent at the time of the tornado.
There was a finish line out there, you just couldn't see it, and you didn't know how long it was going to take, and it was exhausting work.
When all was said and done, the Joplin Schools District built more than 15 new FEMA-grade safe rooms with federal funds. But for districts not affected by huge natural disasters, it's difficult to get money from FEMA.
The FEMA grants that are out there, they're competitive, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get those under normal circumstances. We were in a interesting position where obviously we just had this devastating tornado.
Cover your head just like your young friends.
Students at Grant Elementary in Columbia filed into their new cafeteria and tornado shelter for a drill in August. A change in city code requires new schools or new additions that are 25% or larger than the existing building to include a safe room.
It's a good thing. It does come with some additional cost and planning, but it's a good thing for our community. It's a good thing for the school district.
Enrollment data from the 2017-2018 school year shows total enrollment was 18,552 students, 306 of which were at Grant Elementary. This means the only safe room in the district is used by about 1.5% of CPS students. CPS spokesperson Michelle Baumstark says the last time CPS applied for FEMA grants was about 10 years ago for projects at Rockbridge and Hickman high schools.
It is a very cumbersome process. There are a lot of additional requirements once you do receive FEMA funding, as far as community access to the shelters and those types of things.
The Grant Elementary shelter complies with the International Building Code. It's similar to FEMA standards, but focuses more on the actual structure of the building, not the use. So what makes a safe room safe? According to FEMA, the walls need to be made of thick concrete. The connections between the walls and the floor need to be able to withstand high winds, and the door needs to be made of high-gauge sheet metal to protect from flying debris. Here at Joplin High School, the safe rooms double as gyms and classrooms. This one is the counselor's office. I know these safe rooms very well. I graduated from Joplin High School in 2015. I went to 3 different high schools in 4 years, the last one being the brand new Joplin High. I rode out the 2011 tornado in this house. We hunkered down in a storage room with 3 walls of concrete. I was 14 years old.
Cover your heads now.
The Grant Elementary School principal says the addition brings comfort to students and staff.
Being in one central location is just crucial, and so I feel that we are benefiting from all aspects of the addition now. I can only imagine that there might be some feelings of worry if this was a real tornado situation, and to see your peers and to see your friends and or even your siblings in the same room, there is this element of true comfort that we feel now because we are all united into this space together.
But the Joplin tornado is always in the back of the minds of the people affected.
Our situation is a testament to remembering how serious everything is.
It's a complicated process, there's no question about that, but it was definitely worth our time to go through that process. I think since the Joplin tornado in particular and some of the other massive tornadoes that have created a lot of destruction across the country that's received a lot of attention, there are more schools now than ever that are applying for those grants, and there's a limited pot of funds. So my best advice is just keep trying,
In the future, every new CPS building and addition will have a tornado shelter, including the new middle school, which is set to open in 2020.
Not a day goes by that you don't think about May 22nd, 2011.
No, I think about it every day. Every single time a siren goes off, it's always in my mind.
Your house was not hit. These are pictures of the house you were down in the basement.
Yeah, so this is my family friend's house. My family and I, we were at a birthday party actually, and we knew it was supposed to storm, but we didn't think that we would be surviving an EF5 tornado.
It remains as America's most deadly tornado in more than 70 years. Thank you very much for your story.
Thanks, Jim.
Kenton,